Gaya na nabanggit nung 2 weeks ago about our scripture reading sa Isaiah chapter 9 po pa rin tayo. But this time around, ang babasahin lang po natin ay from verse 1 hanggang verse 7 dahil dun lang po nakatuon ang ating focus. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 1. Nevertheless, the gloom will not be upon her who is distressed, as when at first he lightly esteemed the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan in Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. You have multiplied the nation and increased its joy. They rejoice before you according to the joy of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For you have broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every warrior sandal from the noisy battle and garments rolled in blood will be used for burning and fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. Upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice from that time forward, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Kagaya nga na nabanggit ko sa last scripture reading natin, nabanggit doon na may 3 reason na binigay si Isaiah na sa paglaho ng kadiliman o darkness ay magbubunga ito ng resulting joy. Yung unang reason ay deliverance from oppression in verse 4. Yung pangalawang reason ay peace in verse 5. At pangatlong reason ay yung birth of a child, verse 6 and verse 7. Now, dito tayo sa third reason, magpo-focus sapagkat ito ang nag-highlight ng 5 significant truths about Jesus Christ. The text speaks specifically of the kingly office of Christ. Now, the first truth, His identity. Yung birth ng isang batang lalaki ay mahalagang katotohanan na nagpapatunay na may tunay na kapanganakan na nangyari, ay real birth, at tunay na naging tao, real humanity, na siyang pinakalink o connection dito sa prophecy ng virgin-born Emmanuel na nabanggit sa Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. The virgin-born God with us, yun nga po yung ibig sabihin ng Emmanuel, is now identified as a child born unto us, verse 6. Or to be exact, for us. Ito yung incarnation. God was manifest in the flesh. He is God. He is man. Ganito ang sinabi nga sa kilalang hymn na Hark the Herald. Sabi doon, veiled in flesh the Godhead see. Hail the incarnate deity. This child is born for our benefits. Ano yung benefit? To accomplish for us by His life and by His death all that is required for our salvation. Yung parallel na statement dito, yung unto us a son is given, ay nagdadagdag sa kanyang identification. Ganito yung translation nito, a son has been appointed, and points to the great mystery of the Father appointing His Son in eternity to be the only Redeemer of His elect. His birth is not the start of His sonship, but this sonship is preceded, meaning even before, to this birth. This is a remarkable Trinitarian declaration. The eternal and only Son of God became the Son of Man in the incarnation. In eternity, God appointed His Son to be the mediator, and in the fullness of time, God so loved the world, He gave His Son. John chapter 3, verse 16. Though the word is not used, this Son is Emmanuel. Now, the second truth, His authority. Yung next line, and the government shall be upon His shoulder, sa verse 6 pa rin, ay tumutukoy sa absolute sovereign authority by which He exercised His rule and dominion, meaning God. Bagamat God is the ruler of all by virtue of His being God, the kingship here is the mediatorial kingship that has been given to God, whereby all things are put under His feet, and is the head over all things, particularly for and to the church, His chosen people. Ephesians 1 verse 22. In this special mediatorial kingship, Christ conquers all of His and His people enemies. He conquers either by grace or by a rod of iron, for He is indomitable, and He will conquer and rule. This is why the psalmist admonishes readers to kiss the Son, lest He be angry, and ye perish from the way. And then assure them that the blessed are they that put their trust in Him. Psalm 2, verse 12. Eternal destiny is linked to whether or not there is submission to this rightful King. Yung kalalagyan natin sa eternity, sa pagbabalik ng ating Panginoong Jesus, ay nakataya kung naisuko na ba natin ang ating buhay sa siyang hari ng mga hari at Panginoon ng mga Panginoon. So may the Lord bless the reading of His Word this morning.